What is up, guys and girls? Dodderz HD here. I'm so excited. Today is my first Pokemon Sun and Moon tutorial. I'm in love with the game. I've been playing it since it came out, so definitely expect many tutorials on this in the very near future. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you the easiest and quickest method of catching an Espeon or an Umbreon. Obviously, we can do it other ways, such as evolving an EV, but there are other factors that would be involved in that, such as getting the EV's happiness to 100%, as well as doing other things at night or day. So catching an Espeon or an Umbreon is actually, I personally believe, the easiest and the quickest way of getting one. Obviously, if you guys, you guys have been playing the game, so you are aware, but in Pokemon Sun and Moon, there is a new tactic or a new method that's come out called SOS Battle. Basically, what this is in a nutshell is that when you get into a wild Pokemon battle, a wild Pokemon can call for help. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean it will be the same Pokemon. Majority of the time it will be, but this could also mean that it would call for help from its final evolved Pokemon. Such as when I was catching trying to catch a shiny Magikarp, it did call a lot of Gyarados, because Gyarados is the evolution of Magikarp. So we're gonna look at this method, just catching the Espeon or Umbreon, because it is a lot easier, and basically you just get into a battle with Eevee and you grind, and eventually an Espeon or an Umbreon will appear. However, I need to note that depending on what time it is, so whether it's day or night, will depend on whether a Espeon or a Umbreon will appear. So if you're doing this during the day, eventually an Espeon will appear. If you're doing this during the night, then eventually an Umbreon will also appear. Okay guys, so before we get started, there's a couple of things that we need to know, such as the requirements. You need to have got to Panola Town, which is just off Route 4, if you know where that is. It would also be easier if you could use an Adrenaline Orb. Obviously you need to use one of those per battle. That will make it so the Eevee that you encounter will call for help a lot more often. In order to get an Adrenaline Orb, I think you need to get to the second island, which obviously that's where Panola Town is, and you need to complete, I think it's the fifth trial, and then when you go to the Pokemon store, you will be able to buy the Adrenaline Orbs. I think they're like 300 Pokédollars or something like that, so something very silly. So you need to get some of those. And yeah, obviously it would help if you can get a Pokemon that knows Full Swipe, or you could get a Munchlax that would know Hold Back. Basically what that move does is that enables the attack to get it down to 1 HP. So it won't go any lower than 1 HP. This will enable the Eevee to call for help a lot more often, and it makes it a lot easier for when you actually get your Espeon or Umbreon, because you lower it down to 1 HP, and yeah, then it will be easier to catch. Also, just so you're aware, the EVs will constantly use, it will spam you with sand attacks, so be ready to miss a lot of attacks. So make sure you have a lot of PP, make sure you carry enough Pokemon with you, and make sure you don't kill it, because that will break the chain and you'll have to start all over again. So let's have a look at the Pokédex. As you can see, we are in Panola Town, and just below us on Route 4, there are loads of sightings of Eevee. So Eevee is very common around that area. Well, they do say it's a 5% chance in that area of an Eevee appearing, but I've had no problems whatsoever. Takes about, for me it took about 10 minutes to get an Eevee, and then it took probably about 15-20 minutes to actually get an Espeon or Umbreon. So it's not actually a lot of time, it's not a lot of grinding compared to when you're hunting for shinies, but it could be a considerable amount of time. So make sure you at least leave about 30 to 40 minutes while you're trying to do this, otherwise you might have to leave or suspend the game. So let's go down to Route 4, where I can show you where you can find the Eevee. So basically you just run around this area here, and eventually an Eevee will spawn. Okay guys, as you can see, we have finally encountered an Eevee. So the first thing you'd want to do is obviously use your Adrenaline Orb if that's what you're going to use. If you're not going to use one, then obviously don't. But I would highly recommend using an Adrenaline Orb, because it is the quickest method, because obviously the Eevee will call for help a lot more often than if you don't use one. Then the second thing you'll have to do is make sure you either Full Swipe or Hold Back on the Eevee that you're currently encountered. So that means it will go down to 1 HP. And then basically what you do is you just keep on attacking the new Pokemon, killing the new Pokemon, until if the Eevee finally calls help and you get an Espeon or Umbreon. It's as simple as that. Just make sure obviously you don't kill the Eevee that you full swiped, because obviously then that will be the end of the battle and you will have to start again because you've broken the chain. Also, another thing to remember is that I don't think that you will have to remember this, well, because I never encountered this problem as it didn't take me that long, but you also need to remember the PP moves of the opposing Pokemon. So every sort of 20 to 30 Pokemon in the chain, make sure you switch, so you kill the one that has 1 HP and then you full swipe the new one down to 1 HP. The only reason I say do this is because if the Eevee runs out of PP moves, well, runs out of PP, then basically it will use struggle and it will kill itself, and that will also break the chain. So you don't want that, so make sure that you switch every sort of 20 to 30 in the chain, I'd say. Like I said, get ready to miss a lot of attacks because the Eevee will literally spam sand attack at you and your accuracy will be the lowest it can be. It's slightly frustrating, but it's not the end of the world. So yeah, as you can see on this video, we finally have an Espeon, so we're going to kill the Eevee and we're going to then full swipe the Espeon so it's down to 1 HP, throw a Pokeball and catch it. And if all goes well, you have yourself an Espeon or an Umbreon. So now you have that Pokemon, make sure you look after it like every good Pokemon trainer would. And I hope this tutorial helped you guys. If it did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be spamming you guys with loads of Pokemon Sun and Moon content. So obviously if you're going to have extra problems that I need to help you with, I will be definitely making extra tutorials for you. If you have a specific problem that you want me to make a tutorial on, definitely feel free to comment down below because I will read your comments, I will reply to your comments, and I will make tutorials just to help you guys out because I love playing this game and I love helping you guys out. So don't forget to subscribe to see that content. Also, don't forget to check out our Patreon page, so support us on our Patreon page because that will help us a lot. Don't forget to also view our social media sites such as Twitter and Instagram. All those links will be down below in the description, so definitely go and check those out. Until next time guys, see you then.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all.